Welcome back to DIY Willy. Today we're working on the Mega Moto, the one with the 79cc engine, and we're going to remove the governor. We're going to add the billet flywheel, and I don't know, put some 22-pound valve springs in it, maybe 18 if I can find them, and some other little minor changes to it. So yeah, I've already got the engine out, and there's a few things I've noticed, and let's check that out. So as you can see, the engine's out. I went ahead and left the engine plate in there. I didn't have any reason to take that out. Now I noticed I've cleaned it off since I took it off, but there was an exhaust leak here and up here. So I guess I reused that gasket one too many times. Good thing I have a spare gasket. Another thing I noticed is my main seal is leaking. Now before I put it all back together to go back in the bike, I'm gonna have to find that main seal and see if I can replace it. I don't want it to be leaking like that. If anybody out there knows what I can do or knows a link to those seals, please post in the comments, because I'm gonna look around. I know I saw on eBay a full gasket kit. Maybe it has a main seal in there too. I don't know, or I'll check some of the other websites, the other suppliers, and see if I can't find that seal somewhere. But I need to get a new main seal before I put this thing together for the last time. So the billet flywheel, when you take off, or excuse me, when you put on the billet flywheel, from what I've seen in other videos, is this gets spaced out a little bit and interferes with the carburetor setup. I'm going a different route. I know you guys have seen me with different carburetors on here, so I don't think that'll be an issue whatsoever. However, I lost the hardware kit that came with the billet flywheel, with the spacers that go and the longer bolts that go here. Also, this one is stripped out. So I'm going to try to run a tap through there. If I can find the right tap, I'll run it through there. If not, I'll just go ahead and drill it out and put a bolt all the way through. There's a good place to do that right there, and I'll just have to be careful with the rest of them that doesn't happen. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Got things ready to go. Excuse me when I roll around on the chair. And let's get busy tearing this thing apart. Okay, so now we've got the flywheel off, coils off, that key, or that, yeah, that key in the crank was a monster to get out of there. I don't know why it was so tight. Kind of damaged the crank a little bit right there, but that's okay. We'll take a little bit of emery cloth and smooth that out before we lap the flywheel in. And other than that, I mean, it looks good. We got to get this out of here. We'll go ahead and pull this pin, and we'll get this side cover off, and get all the governor parts out, and get this, I guess this is the oil sensor. Get the oil sensor out of there, clean up the inside, and start the reassembly. So taking a look at the engine and the new billet flywheel, when you put it on, it makes contact, like I said, with it makes contact with the I don't know how to explain it. It makes contact back here where the governor was. Also this little piece here, and these two on the bottom. Now I believe these are blanks for like charging coils. It's got two on each side, and they're about the right distance for charging coils. So I'm not going to use any of that, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and grind those out with my handy dandy cutoff wheel. Hopefully that works. If not, I've got other tools I can use. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take this off, and cut these down. These two right here. These are the ones that I believe are for a charging coil. Okay, let's do that. All right, so I've got those cut down, those 4 spots there, and flywheel should fit a lot better. Let's see. Fits kind of weird. I really thought it would sit down further than that. Okay, I'm gonna start to lap the flywheel in. I'm using a little bit of a valve grinding compound, should do the job just fine. And I'll show you what I do. I put a little bit on both the crank and the flywheel, and let's do that. Hope you're not too far away. We can zoom in a little bit. We just take the flywheel, we go in there. I'm gonna hold the crank on this side. Damn birds. Push in gently, go back and forth. Spin it, push gently, go back and forth. Spin it, gently, go back and forth, just like that. And what this is doing is it's mating the two surfaces together, so it'll be a nice, good fit. All right. Okay, now taking a look at the new flywheel, it has one hole drilled out for the tongs, or the, I'll call them tongs, on the bottom of the cup. However, this cup has two, so it won't sit in there flat. So rather than try to drill a new one here, I think I'm just going to grind this off. I'll just grind one of those off so that it'll sit flat against the new flywheel. The old flywheel, let me get it. The old flywheel did have two little spots here for it to engage in. Interesting, right? The difference between this engine and the Harbor Freight 79cc. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and grind one of those off, and we'll put it together. All right, I've put the engine all together. I went to portablegokarts.com and I picked up one of their intake manifolds and their 19mm carburetors with a number 80 jet is what they recommended for me at sea level. Yeah, I mean, it looks great. It looks better than it runs. I did fit the clear valve cover on there. Here, let's take the seat off. Valve cover, see? Looks really good. So I got it all together, and well, it just doesn't run. I'm thinking it's the carburetor, something's wrong with it. I've checked the valve lash, checked the gap on the coil, re-gapped the spark plug, and I've just done everything I could think to do. Now I realize, before somebody makes a comment, that their manifold puts the carburetor right into the frame. I understand that, and I'll change the manifold to move it out. You know, all I got to do is cut it and then just trim it back so that it points more out, and then I can put the filter on. But I don't want to do that until I have it running well, and right now it's not running good. I mean, it runs, but it will not idle for its own life. It just will not idle. So yeah, so that's very frustrating. I've cleaned the jets inside. I watched the video, I believe it was Mikuni Oz, that had a Mikuni carburetor, and one of the jets inside was clogged up, I guess from the factory even. So I got a piece of wire from one of my wire brushes and I cleaned out that jet, and sure enough, you couldn't see through it when you looked at it through the light, and by the time I stuck the wire through it and cleaned it, you could see through it. So there was something wrong there, and there may be something wrong internally in the carburetor, I don't know. I've checked everything I could think of to check, the float levels, everything. I ordered another one. It's almost identical to this one from Amazon. It's a little bit cheaper. I can play around with it. I'll see if that one works better. I also have the PZ20 on the lawnmower that I can probably bring over here and put on here and see if it works. But this project's not over yet. It's just not running. So let's see what we get right now when we start it up. See, as soon as I let off the gas, it just dies out. So I'm not the best at working with these carburetors, but I'm learning. And well, I'm gonna end this video here, and when the other carburetor comes in, we'll put it on, we'll get it, hopefully get it running, and I'll modify the manifold to turn it out this way so I can put an air cleaner on it. I don't think the air cleaner would cause this problem. It might. Please leave in the comments any suggestions you think you can offer out there that could help me out. So yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for stopping by, checking out my videos, and subscribing if you've subscribed. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, if you feel so inclined. It really helps me out. And always come back to DIY Willy, where we work on fun things like these mini bikes and the trucks outside. I've got Mighty over there on the table, some big plans for that one. So all right, see you next time.